Be me, Jessica, 40 years old, sitting alone in my apartment on a Friday night. Studio apartment, barely 400 square feet, same place I've had for 6 years. Can hear the couple upstairs arguing again. At least they have someone to argue with. Open my phone for the dozenth time today. Tinder, 0 notifications. Bumble, 3 likes. But when I check, they're all clearly bots or men who live in different countries. Hinge. I don't even remember the last time I got a message. Delete all 3 apps again. I know I'll re-download them tomorrow. Stare at the ceiling and wonder how the fuck I got here. Rewind to 20 years ago. Was 20. Working my first job out of community college. Met Derek, nice guy, stable, wanted something serious. Remember feeling suffocated when he talked about moving in together. Told him I needed to find myself first. He didn't understand. Broke up with him. Felt so liberated. My friends cheered me on. You don't need a man to complete you, Jess. There's so much world to see. Saved up money and bought a ticket to Thailand. That trip changed everything. Met so many people. Had so many experiences. Came back, convinced that settling down young was a trap. Spent my early 20s bouncing between temp marketing jobs. Didn't matter. The money was just for the next trip. Barcelona, Costa Rica, Vietnam, Peru. Each time I'd come back, friends would ask if I met anyone. I did. Lots of people. Slept with a bartender in Lisbon. Had a 3-week thing with a surf instructor in Bali. None of it mattered because I wasn't looking for anything serious. Told everyone who'd listen that I was living my life on my terms. Turned 25, then 26, then 27. Met Marcus when I was 28. He was different, successful, had his own business. We dated for almost a year. He wanted me to meet his parents. Wanted to talk about the future. Remember the panic I felt when he brought up marriage. Told him I wasn't ready to be anyone's wife. Said I still had so much growing to do. He asked what that even meant. I didn't have an answer that satisfied him. We broke up. Cried for a week. Then booked a flight to Morocco. Convinced myself I'd dodged a bullet. My friends Rachel and Amy were getting married around that time. Remember sitting at their weddings feeling superior? They were giving up their freedom so young. I was out there living. Turned 30 and barely noticed. Threw myself a birthday party at a bar. Invited everyone I knew. Got drunk and made out with a guy whose name I never learned. Woke up the next day and felt nothing. Kept working the same marketing coordinator job I'd had for 3 years. Kept telling myself it was temporary. Kept saving for the next trip instead of investing in my career. Met James when I was 32. He was perfect on paper. Good job. Owned a house. Wanted kids. We dated for 6 months. He proposed. I laughed. Actually laughed when he got down on one knee. Told him we barely knew each other. Said I wasn't going to trap myself in some heteronormative construct just because society expected it. He looked at me like I was insane. Maybe I was. Spent my mid-30s in a blur of dating apps and weekend trips. Became really good at first dates. Could charm anyone for 3 hours over drinks. But when they'd text the next day wanting to see me again, I'd feel that familiar claustrophobia. Would ghost or send some message about not being ready for anything serious. Meanwhile, Rachel had 2 kids. Amy had 3. Sarah got married at 33. They all kept inviting me to things at first. Playdates, birthday parties, barbecues. I'd show up and feel like an alien. They'd talk about preschools and pediatricians. I'd try to tell them about my trip to Iceland. Could see their eyes glaze over. Started declining the invitations. Told myself they were boring now. That motherhood had made them lose themselves. That I was the one who stayed interesting. The invitations stopped coming. Told myself I didn't care. At work, they hired a new marketing manager. She was 29. I'd been at the company for 8 years at that point. Still a coordinator. She became my boss. Had to sit through meetings where she explained basic concepts to me. Felt the humiliation but pushed it down. Told myself corporate ladder climbing was for people who'd bought into the system. Kept my head down. Did my work. Collected my paycheck. Turned 35, then 36, then 37. Started noticing something shifting. The guys on dating apps who used to respond enthusiastically were taking longer to reply, or not replying at all. Lowered my age range to include younger guys. They'd match, but conversation would fizzle. Raised it to include older guys. They were looking for women in their 20s and 30s. I was in my 30s too, I'd think. But late 30s apparently didn't count the same way. Went out to bars less. When I did go, something was different. Used to be able to walk in and feel eyes on me. Now I could stand at the bar for 20 minutes and not get a single glance. Guys would literally look through me to check out the women behind me. Younger women. Tried to tell myself age was just a number. That men who cared about youth were shallow anyway. But it still hurt. Still made me invisible. Rachel stopped responding to my texts. We'd been best friends since college. I'd reach out every few months. Hey stranger, wanna grab coffee? She'd say she was too busy with the kids. Could see her posting on social media though. Out for drinks with other mom friends. Playdates at the park. She wasn't too busy. I just wasn't part of her world anymore. Same thing happened with Amy, with Sarah, with everyone. The married ones vanished into their family units. The single ones from my 20s had all coupled up. I was the last one. Turned 38 and had a moment of panic. Created profiles on every dating app. Swiped right on almost everyone. Barely got any matches. The ones I did get were men I wouldn't have looked at twice 5 years ago. Went on a date with Robert. He was 52, divorced, 2 teenage kids. Spent the whole dinner talking about his ex-wife. Asked me back to his place at the end. I went. Hated myself the entire time. He never texted again. Didn't even want a second date with the woman he'd slept with on the first date. That's when I knew something was really wrong. Started therapy. Therapist asked what I wanted. I said I wanted to feel fulfilled. She asked what that meant. I talked about self-actualization and independence and not being defined by relationships. She nodded and scribbled notes. After 6 sessions, she gently suggested maybe I was afraid of intimacy. I stopped going. Turned 39 on a Tuesday. Went to work. Came home. Ordered Thai food. Watched Netflix alone. That was it. No party. No celebration. Posted a selfie on social media with some caption about embracing another year of growth. Got 47 likes. Most from people I hadn't talked to in years. The married friends didn't even acknowledge it. 3 months ago I turned 40. The big 4. Oh, milestone birthday. Took myself to dinner at a nice restaurant. Sat alone with a book. Tried to look content. Like this was a choice. Like I was one of those women who genuinely preferred her own company. The waiter kept asking if I was waiting for someone. Kept having to say no. Could see the pity in his eyes. Wanted to scream that I'd chosen this. That I'd had opportunities and turned them down. That men had wanted me and I'd said no. But sitting there alone on my 40th birthday, none of that felt true anymore. Now I'm here, still working as a marketing coordinator. Still making $52K a year. Watching people 10 years younger get promoted past me. Living in the same small apartment. Same IKEA furniture I bought 8 years ago. Same plants that keep dying because I forget to water them. Same view of the parking lot. Downloaded Tinder again last week. Swiped for an hour. Got one match. Guy named Dennis. Looked at his profile. 61 years old. Bad photos. Bio said. Just looking for fun. Felt sick. This is what I match with now. This is my league. Unmatched him. Deleted the app again. Went to a happy hour thing last Friday. Work event. Casual networking. Stood in the corner with a drink. Watched everyone else talk and laugh. A guy came over and I perked up. Thought maybe he was going to introduce himself. He asked if I could move so he could get to the napkins behind me. That was it. I was just in the way. Left after 30 minutes. Nobody noticed. Been thinking a lot about Derek lately. Looked him up on Facebook. He's married now. Has twin daughters. His wife looks happy in the photos. They have a nice house. He looks exactly the same but with some gray in his hair. Wonder what my life would be like if I'd said yes. If I'd just been brave enough to commit. Think about Marcus too. He married someone else within 2 years of us breaking up. They have 3 kids now. He never had trouble finding someone ready to build a life with him. Just couldn't find it with me. Because I was too busy finding myself. Here's the thing. Nobody tells you about finding yourself. You can search for 20 years. Travel to 30 countries. Sleep with however many people. Work on yourself. Invest in yourself. Prioritize yourself. And still end up alone in a studio apartment wondering what it was all for. The freedom I fought so hard for just feels like loneliness now. The independence feels like isolation. The refusing to settle feels like I just let everything good slip away. My married friends aren't ignoring me to be cruel. We just have nothing in common anymore. They're in a phase of life I'll never experience. They're planning college funds and family vacations. I'm planning which frozen meal to eat for dinner. We exist in different universes now. Men aren't approaching me because I'm invisible to them. I aged out of the dating market while I was busy rejecting it. Spent so many years thinking I had unlimited time, that I could always settle down later when I was ready. Nobody told me that later might mean never, that the options would disappear, that the men who wanted to marry me at 25 and 30 and 32 would be gone. Married to other women. Women who said yes. Sit here now and try to feel okay with my choices. Try to embrace the narrative I built, that I'm a strong, independent woman who doesn't need anyone. But late at night, when the apartment is quiet, when I can hear the couple upstairs going to bed together, when I see the photos of my old friends with their families, when I open dating apps to total silence, it's hard to pretend this is what I wanted. Got a message from Rachel yesterday. First time in 8 months. My heart jumped. Thought maybe she was reaching out. Maybe we could reconnect. Opened it. Was an invitation to her daughter's birthday party. Group message sent to dozens of people. Clearly just a mass invite. Probably sent to her entire contact list. I'm not special anymore. I'm just someone who might show up and bring a gift. Stared at the invitation for an hour. Knew I wouldn't go. Knew I'd be the only adult there without kids. Knew I'd stand awkwardly while the other parents talked. Knew I'd feel even more alone surrounded by families than I do here by myself. That's what gets me the most. The loneliness isn't even the worst part. It's knowing that I built this cage myself. I was so determined not to be trapped in a relationship that I trapped myself in solitude instead, thought I was being brave and radical, thought I was rejecting outdated expectations, thought I was choosing myself. But choosing yourself over and over and over eventually means you're the only one left. There's a guy at work named David. He's 45, divorced, has a teenage son. He's asked me out 3 times over the past year. I've said no each time. Not attracted to him. He's balding, a bit overweight, kind of boring, but he's kind. He's stable. He has a good job. He asked again last week. I said no again. Watched him walk away. Part of me wanted to call him back. Wanted to say yes just to have something. Just to not be alone. But I couldn't do it. Even now. Even after everything. I still can't bring myself to settle. Still waiting for the perfect connection. The fireworks. The passion. The perfect match. At 40. Still holding out for a fantasy. Maybe that's my real problem. Spent so long rejecting good men because they weren't perfect. Because commitment felt like compromise. That I never learned how to accept reality. Never learned that love is often quiet and simple. Not this grand adventure I kept searching for. Logged into Hinge again tonight. Updated my profile. Chose the best photos. Wrote something witty in my bio. Swiped for 20 minutes. Sent likes to a dozen guys. None of them matched back. The algorithm has figured me out. Knows I'm a 40-year-old woman with nothing to offer. No career success. No interesting life. Just a collection of passport stamps from a decade ago. Stories about finding myself that nobody wants to hear anymore. Closed the app. Looked around my apartment. The same space I've been staring at for years. Asked myself what I found during all that searching. What great truth did I discover about myself? What was worth giving up Derek for? Worth giving up Marcus for? Worth giving up James for? I don't have an answer. I traveled and slept around and stayed single. And all I found was that 20 years pass faster than you think, that options expire, that there's a shelf life to being the fun single girl, that independence and loneliness are separated by the thinnest line, and once you cross it, you can't go back. My mother called today, asked if I was seeing anyone, told her no. She sighed, that disappointed sigh I've been hearing for 15 years. Wanted to yell at her that I don't need a man to be complete, that I have a full life. But the words stuck in my throat, because they're not true. My life isn't full. It's empty. And I did it to myself. Chose this emptiness, one decision at a time. One rejected proposal. One ghosted nice guy. One trip instead of commitment. Built a fortress of independence so strong that nobody can get in anymore. And I can't get out. It's Saturday night now. Just made dinner for one. Pasta from a box. Sauce from a jar. Eating it while watching a show I've seen before. Phone next to me just in case. In case someone texts. In case someone swipes. In case someone remembers I exist. But it stays silent. Always silent now. This is 40. This is what finding myself got me. A small apartment, an entry-level job, and nobody looking for me. because everyone already found what they were looking for. And I'm still here, still searching, still alone, still pretending I chose this. When really, this is just what's left. After you spend 20 years saying no, the universe stops asking.